My name is Lee Schroyer. I am the Employer Relations and Internship Coordinator.
And my name is Michael Sokoto. I'm the Assistant Director of the Career Development Office.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for spending your lunchtime with us. So, first thing we want to do is define what are strategic connections.
So there really isn't a solid definition for strategic connections. It's completely up to the person themselves, what they see strategic relationships being. But there is an essential component of strategic relationships, and that's not only building the relationships, but more importantly, maintaining all of the relationships that you have. And also, it's not about knowing many people, but it's about knowing the right people within the position, industry, or profession that you're trying to go into. Strategic relationships to me is definitely about developing a career goal and discovering what you need to do to reach those goals, and really identifying what people you need to build a relationship with to ensure that you accomplish or achieve all of those goals. Connections are especially important as you rise up within your career. A lot of the times, executive level positions, vice president or CEO positions are not usually posted on job boards like Indeed or Glassdoor. A lot of those positions are either handled by executive search firms or even word of mouth. So as you move on with your career or your time here at CGU, definitely pay attention to who you're meeting, because you never know what organizations they'll end up with or what organizations they're already in.
And to share you a little story about me, I have 25 years experience in the restaurant business, working in the franchise industry, and I want to get out of that industry and start afresh. So those strategic connections are especially important to people that want to make a change. And I had to start in developing my own network. So those connections are going to be really important to you, especially if you're getting into a brand new field or you're starting out your career.
Oh, yes, indeed.
So first of all, you're going to need to know what your career goals actually are. And we here at the Career Development Office have a lot of tools to help you kind of figure that out. I'm going to lead you through on our website for the Career Development Office. If you go to your MyCGU page, I'll lead you through this real quick. Go to MyCGU and then click on the Career Development here on the right. The first tool I'm going to show you is called the Interactive Career Planning Timeline. So if you go to Explore and hit Explore again, and this first section here, here's the Career Planning Timeline. This little link right here brings up a PDF with a really well-defined timeline, things you can do and at what stages. So right now, if you're starting your career, you can identify careers of interest, start a career roadmap, and give yourself a timeline. The other tool is listed on there is called the Career Roadmap. It's on that same page in preparing yourself for the search. There's another PDF, and it's a very long, in-depth process, but it gives you a very structured process of visioning your career, where you want to go, trying to discover those hidden career paths, and a lot of very in-depth information for you to get started on, which I'm glad you guys are listening now, a week and a half before school starts, because once coursework starts, it's going to be really difficult to do this stuff.
Definitely is.
The last one is called Imagine PhD, and this is not just for PhD students, but it is designed for PhD students that are not necessarily going to go into careers in teaching. Sorry about that. So Imagine PhD has a lot of tools for you: assessments to find out skills, interests, and values, resources on families, which, what types of jobs are available in these different types of industry. Maybe you don't want to be a teacher, but you want to be in administration. So it has different ideas of what you can do for in administration in schools. Imagine PhD is a free tool for you. You just need to create a login. So next steps.
So now that you have all of these tools, it'd be wonderful for each of you to perhaps dabble with them and learn a little bit more about them. The Imagine PhD tool and specifically has this online questionnaire for you as well. And it also has a calendar application which spans from 2 to even 6 or 8 years. And it's a calendar application of goals. And you develop your own goals, but at least you have a calendar there that would basically hold you accountable. The next steps, once you do all of that, definitely schedule an appointment with one of our career consultants, either myself, Lee, our director, Christine, or two of our other career consultants, so that we can kind of work together to really diagnose the plan. Whether you do it on Imagine PhD or you create your own plan on paper, it's always good to get a second set of eyes to review the plan and in fact probably make that plan more in depth or have more detail. And then finally, definitely come see us to begin preparing your pitch. Here at CGU, especially with Lee here, he has employers visiting the campus once, twice, or 3 times a month. So as you're meeting all of these employers, it'd be great for you to really have a pitch put together so that the employer has an overall understanding of who you are, what program you're in, and where you want to eventually end up, what industry or what organization. And that's something that we can do here with you. So we definitely hope to see you in our office throughout the first semester.
All right, so next we want to talk about how you're going to develop your outreach plan. And you really want to have people that are going to be able to fill different roles in your network. So this is based on an article in Forbes magazine from July 2010. And at the end of the presentation, I will provide the link for you, but it's how to build a powerful professional network. So some of those, the hard contacts, quote hard, unquote, those have expertise that's directly related to what you need in your network. They know the right people in your industry that you're interested in, and they have contacts in companies you want to join. Soft contacts are contacts that may be somewhat related to where you want to be, but they can provide guidance in other ways. These can be like your peers, your cohort that you're with. And don't forget that those people in your cohort, they're going to be your coworkers or resources in the future too.
Absolutely, your partners, your colleagues, professional colleagues. So what you see here on this slide is basically a checklist of who to have on your team or who to have on your bench when you're out seeking to build strategic relationships. Everyone pretty much knows this one, definitely having a mentor, someone who has reached the success professionally or academically, reach that level that you aspire to have one day. It's also very important to have a coach. The coach is a person who basically keeps you emotionally in line and also is more of a support for you. It's very important to also have a partner. One of your classmates, perhaps a family member, who can really walk with you step by step through this entire process to really keep yourself sane as you're going through graduate school. And then also it's extremely important to have someone who knows you personally and also has a gift as far as building a plan. The vision itself is up to you. I definitely love to say the road to success starts with the vision, and only the person themselves know what vision they're trying to accomplish. But when developing a strategic plan on how to accomplish that vision or how to get on the road to that vision, sometimes you do need a second set of eyes. So that's when you can not only have someone from industry prepare you because they know what skills, academic requirements, or what type of certifications you need for those positions, but you can also utilize your career development office, as we spoke about it earlier with your career plan. We could be that second set of eyes for you to pretty much develop a strategic plan for you to accomplishing your career aspirations.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring you back to earth because you need that visionary to help you develop your plan. We also need the realist to, kind of manage your expectations of your career. Now, on the opposite of that, you need the idealist. And, if you know your Gallup strengths, this would be an activator, someone who really sparks your imagination of where your career could go. The last one on here is the connector. That's the person, she has access to people and resources, information, and she's going to connect you to even more people. So I wanted, first, before you start reaching out to a bunch of strangers, on LinkedIn, well, maybe they're kind of strangers because they were CGU students before, but they don't know you. Try and evaluate the connections you already have. Look at professors that you have here. Look at your fellow students that are here. Maybe some of the staff members too might be good resources. Also look at family and friends to see if any of them are in the industry. You can start with the CGU connections after that. That's the thing I always recommend to students is if you're building out your network outside of what you have, start with the CGU alumni or connections of the people you're going to school with. C-suite, like Michael mentioned before, they're all about connection and passive recruiting, executive search firms. You're not going to find those types of positions, those six-figure positions that everyone asks me for. You're not going to find those in general, posted on LinkedIn or Indeed.
Lee, I'd really like you to share the statistics based on salary of how long it takes to land those positions.
Oh, if you're looking for a job, the average time it takes to find a full-time job is 3 months. But the time it takes to find a six-figure salary on average is about 1.5 years. And that you may not be, that maybe because you're not starting out at a six-figure salary, you're starting at a little bit lower, but in 1.5 years, you're working your way up to there. So I wanted to share a quick story about some of the connections that I made. I was working in Domino's Pizza for years, and I was out of a job for a little bit. I reached out to some people that were in my network, and he connected me to someone else that was just coming back from Europe and starting at his own franchise organization out here. So, it's finding those jobs through your networks, and that job hadn't even been advertised yet.
And then I'll cover a story as well. Before I landed this position, I was interviewing for a position at Claremont McKenna College, similar position. And in the end, they decided to go with another candidate. But the director liked me so much and valued the skills and experience that I had, that I was potentially able to bring to the table, that she connected me to the director here at Claremont Graduate University. So that's prime example of meeting someone that you don't know, and also not knowing the the influence that they may have in furthering your career or potentially helping you land an internship or a job or a position down the road. So while you're here and meeting different people, definitely give them the time and take the time to get to know them, because you never know what type of influence they'll have in your career down the road.
Yeah, that's a good example, because it's not your first circle of friends. Most of the time you're going to find an opportunity through. It's through their friends or their friends' friends. Most of the time, because the people that are close to you mostly know the same people. You're friends with their friends are your friends, or their family is your family. So it's those connections that are 1 or 2 steps removed that you're going to find the opportunities through. So when you're developing your outreach plan.
Yes, absolutely. So really not only try to focus on connecting with people who are mentors, coaches, visionaries, also try to get connected with individuals who have private information about the profession or an organization that you're trying to learn more about. And what we mean about private information, maybe they can tell you a little bit about the workplace culture. Maybe they can tell you about what skills or requirements that they look for. They probably will also be able to share when a position is going to be open within the next 2-3 weeks. You should keep an eye out. This position is opening. So that's finding someone that has private information. Then access to a person that has a diverse set of skills. And the reason why is because this individual can kind of walk you through how they developed all of these skills, or what type of trainings they went through in order to have those requirements or those skills needed to land a position. And then lastly, trying to get in touch with someone who has access to decision making. Perhaps someone in human resources, or someone in a management or type of position. And as we mentioned earlier, it's pretty tough to get a hold of those that are in the executive level or the presidency level type of positions. But the managerial and human resources type levels and departments are a lot more accessible to you. So where can you find these individuals? There's professional associations. There's a variety of them. Whether you're in human resources, education, consulting, small businesses, each and every single industry or position has a professional association. And you can very simply find out more about these associations by going through your Google search and basically typing human resource professional associations or data analytics associations, and then a few of them will be popped up in your computer screen. Class projects. Definitely pay attention to who's in the classroom, and I believe this is probably the 3rd or 4th time that we mention it. Your classmates will eventually become your colleagues, your community partners throughout your entire career. LinkedIn is something that this office really uses to get alumni here on campus. Lee uses LinkedIn pretty often to bring in professional alumni, and you too can do the same to get in touch with CGU alumni and perhaps putting together some form of informational interview.
The last 2 are 2 ways, like say somebody does work at a company, but they don't have, maybe they're not answering on LinkedIn. The hunter.io and getemail.io gives the format for the email structure for organizations. So you can find that my email address is lee.schroyer@cgu.edu, or whoever's working at Deloitte or Accenture, wherever, they will give you those email addresses, or at least the structure of it. Mm-hmm. So when you're preparing to make contact, before you reach out, think about what are the goals for this relationship. How does this, is this the position I'm looking for? Is this person the position I'm looking for? Is it the company that I'm looking to get in or the industry. So keep in mind the questions you're going to ask based on who this person is. One thing you always want to think about that really helps in developing these relationships is always be interested in how you can help them. So be a good listener. That's one in these informational interviews. I think a lot of people get caught up in wanting to talk about themselves, but I think the most important thing is asking questions of the other person and trying to understand them and their position more. You also want to ask, how can you get access to them? The hunter.io and get email, that's one way. LinkedIn is another way. One thing you want to think about too is, are they local? Because phone informational interviews and developing that type of network is good and all, but I always have a much more in-depth conversation with people when I'm meeting them in person. I always try and set up, coffee chats with people rather than just phone conversations.
And going back to what Lee said about a way that you can help them, Lee's encountered a lot of employers, and as I have also, employers are also interested in connecting with faculty. And you as a student, you can serve as a bridge to connect some employers to faculty members. So that's one way that you can assist them or help their organizations to make other connections.
Yeah, forwarding articles, or maybe there's someone else you've already reached out to, I think could help solve some of their needs.
Now, earlier we spoke about having some form of elevator pitch, and it's important whether you're at a community meeting, a conference, or in the middle of an informational interview. It's essential to describe yourself in 3 minutes or less to an employer. That way they get an overall perspective of again, who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, what skills you come with, and what organizations or positions you want to be a part of.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to go through this step by step in interest of time's sake today, but if you go onto our YouTube page, there's a 3-minute video on creating an elevator pitch.
Yep.
We also have a lot of resources on the website on how to do that. One thing I wanted to mention is wait to give them your pitch until they ask for it.
Yeah.
Don't just go up to everybody and give them your pitch.
Hey, my name is Michael.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till they ask you, so what about you? Then you can go into your 30-second pitch.
So this is just a list of individuals that I've been able to either connect with or connect CGU with based on my work history. The Dr. Diamond is the story that I explained earlier. I didn't get the position in her office, but she directed me here to CGU, and now I'm at this office. Dr. Alarcon is a healthcare professional that I've worked with in the past, and during my first month here at CGU, I was actually able to reach out to her and bring her on campus so that she can talk to a few of our public health students who are interested in the healthcare field. So those are just some examples of how you can continue keeping those relationships warm, maintaining them. That's really the hard part. And even with Dr. Beal, she's a principal of a local high school here in this area. I'm part of her board, not only to help her students, but also to just keep that relationship warm with her, because that's someone that I've been working with over the past 3 years.
And I use the same type of tool for my role here for CGU. There might be a couple other things you could add too, is like the date you last spoke to them. Mm-hmm. And I also like to put notes in that Excel sheet that I had, what our last conversation was about, some of their interests, because I can't rely on my memory. I'd much rather rely on Excel. So maintaining the relationships, you're going to want to follow certain steps. So make a plan, like we said, of keeping the communication lines open. Send them articles that are interesting. They might relate to, or like Michael said, connect them to other people like faculty or other people in industry that may be able to fit their needs. Also, conferences that you're going to, or group meetings that you're going to, that the topics might be interesting to them. So make sure that you also thank somebody right after the meeting by email. And if you really want to stand out for these people, send them a thank you note in the actual snail mail.
Yes.
You would really stand out if you did that, because no one does that anymore.
Snail mail is regular mail, everyone.
So, like we were saying, share relevant articles or events, topics that might relate to their needs. Follow up on your progress. So, in your little notes section, write down what advice they gave you. So when you're following up with them a month later, you can tell them, oh yeah, and I remember what you said about, pursuing the skill, and I went out and got this certificate. What are the next steps you think I should take? So plan for opportunities to meet them again. Is there, a human resources conference that you want to go to, and maybe they're going to go too. Maybe you can meet them up at that conference. Definitely any way to reach out to them again. Link up to them, follow them on LinkedIn, or if they have an Instagram page or their website, comment on their updates, show your interest in what they're doing, and help them broadcast their business or their personal brand. And then look for volunteer opportunities, either with their organization, look for conferences, look for community groups you can volunteer for. Those are all great ways to build valuable connections.
Even Lee right now is volunteering for an organization and getting a lot of great contacts for CGU and for the students.
Yeah, I volunteer for organization called the Association for Training and Development down in LA, and a lot of those people are consultants. So they, and I've connected quite a few students to people within that organization to give them feedback and, general direction and guidance. So anytime you volunteer, you're going to find other people that are volunteering and have an interest in helping you succeed. So we have a lot of different ways that you can interact with us. So we can help you build these strategic connections or relations. We can help you do career exploration and planning, and which I would also recommend our Career Readiness Conference coming up pretty soon. We can do interview preparation and mock interviews, and I think Michael can attest to this too. The majority of students that we see and we do mock interviews with here have success in finding that role or getting that job that they're interviewing for.
Yes, they definitely have. A number of them actually, and even during our mock interview event that we had during the spring last year, a few of the students, because they kept the relationships warm, they were able to land some form of internship with the organization that they interviewed with.
And we can help you with salary negotiation, and last but not least is document review. Well, I say it that way because that is why a majority of students come to our office. But honestly, that's probably one of the last steps you should be going through.
Yes. And then we really just want to work with you throughout your entire time here at Claremont Graduate University. You have all of our social media outlets: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And we use mainly the Facebook and Instagram to promote up-and-coming events or employers that are coming on campus, or any partnerships that Lee ends up developing because of his position. At the bottom, you'll see that we really use Big Interview, Handshake, and Imagine PhD. It's basically in our DNA. It's in our bloodline. So if you do come and visit us in the office, we're either going to be speaking about one or all three of them. And then, of course, you have the mycampus.cgu.edu, which has all of the information that you see on this screen in itself. So definitely do follow us on social media. We're trying to increase our followership because it will give students a heads up on what events are up and coming.
Well, thank you for participating today. Really appreciate you showing up and learning how to build those strategic connections. We wish you the best down the road.
Thank you, everyone.